All right, an Eskimo guy with jokes about Saskatchewan. Cool.
Hard to believe,
Good
eh?
evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Let's Talk CFL podcast, episode number 648. I'm your host, Christopher Jones, and we're going to talk some football tonight. We've got a special guest, and we're going to go from there. Introduce the panel. We're going to go around real quick. We got Mike from Portland, Oregon, big Edmonton Elks fan. I got Charles Cliff from Abbotsford, British Columbia, another Lions fan. I got Will McDonald from Calgary, Alberta, a Stampeder fan, and Chris Morledge, who's this just block of stillness up, and he's from Regina, Saskatchewan, and he's a Rider fan. And we got a special guest here, Chris Morris, President and CEO of the Edmonton Elks. Awesome. How you doing? Welcome to the show, sir.
Great. Thanks for having me on.
Well, we've been doing this podcast for about 10 years now and having fun. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Mike, go ahead. Sorry. I'm probably the most excited person of the group to have you on this show because you represent my team. And the first question that I had of you is, as I was prepping for this, when you were back taking the job as president of the Elks, it was a pretty daunting job. Your background is you were with Edmonton for 14 years, 3 Grey Cup championships. You were known as a leader in the locker room. And here you were coming into an organization that was in a complete rebuild in the office as well as on the field. How daunting was that? Where did you start?
I'll tell you what, Michael, it was probably more than you even know. Like we were last in revenue, last in attendance, last in on-field performance. So it was there was a lot of ways that we needed to get better when I got there. For me, it always starts, and anytime you're part of an organization, you have to have that pillar, the foundation, the core values that your organization is going to represent. And I think those were really, really clear when I was there as a player. And for whatever reason, it's funny because I walked out the door in 2005 and I walked back in the door in 2024, and it was an unrecognizable place in some ways because some of those core values, some of those pillars just weren't the same. And they weren't what I was accustomed to as far as what being at the time an Eskimo was or what being an Elk should be. So for me, it all started with rebuilding culture. Like I had a very important decision to make initially with the football side of things. The football side of things, in my opinion, was handled in a way that was very different to the way I believe football should be handled. I believe in like integrity and consistency are words I talk about a lot. And consistency and roster to me is worth more than gold. You can't have half your team transitioning every year and bringing new guys in and new guys out and expect it to be able to be successful. So I think you need to build a foundation. And so when I hired Ed, who's a very, very good friend of mine, I did so knowing that he believes in building a team in the same way that I do. Having consistency, bringing in the right kind of people, men of integrity, men who believe in finishing what they start, men who believe in, looking after the people around them, and then keeping those guys in the building and letting them grow up together and letting them become a great team. Now, on the business side, it was a little bit different. That's one of the pieces where there were some things that were very, very dysfunctional when I first got there. Like our like we couldn't even answer the phones. Like that was the first thing. I had people call me and they couldn't even reach the office. So that was tough, so we had to fix that right away. Our ticketing department, we didn't know who sold tickets. We didn't know when they sold tickets. We had no ticketing report to identify how many tickets we'd sold or what category of ticket we'd sold. So I actually went to visit Winnipeg and Wade Miller and those guys who run a great business. And it was like, okay, guys, like this is where we're at. Show me where you're at. And I gained some valuable information. And I have a great young now ticketing person. Emma is our Vanderwees. Emma Vanderwees sort of runs our ticketing department now. And she does so in a way that's a modern way of running ticketing. And then there's been little pieces, like honestly, when you go into an organization and you say, look, I don't care what else happens, integrity and consistency are the most important things. Sometimes people look at you like you're crazy. Like, because they just never heard that kind of thing. They've never heard of sort of an organization. They think of numbers. They think of making deals. They think of different things like that. So for some people, it's been a really, really big adjustment because it's just a different way of building. It's a different way of building relationships. It's a different way of sort of doing business. So a lot of people enjoy it. Some people don't. And we've had some people move on, and we've had, for me, that's nothing personal about it. I'm not for everybody. When I say the things I say, I really mean them, and I believe in them, and I'm going to carry through on them. And if you don't do them, I'm going to be talking to you about it. So that's not comfortable for everybody. And again, like you start coming back to the consistency and integrity piece, like the measurement of success is important as well. So you start saying, okay, what are we going to measure? What's going to be important? Like, what are our goals? What are our targets? And specifically, how are we going to achieve those? And by the way, we're going to be talking about those every week. So for some people, when that hasn't been that way, it's just uncomfortable, right? And some people have really fought through that and worked through that, and it's been a good experience for them. And for some people, it just wasn't for them, right? So that's where we're at right now. I think we're in a good spot football wise. I feel like we've made huge strides. I'm watching our training camp practices right now, and I feel very good about our talent level and the level of maturity we have on the field, both in our coaching staff and our players. And I feel very good about what we're doing in the front office right now. The way we're approaching people, I tell my staff, it's like hand-to-hand combat. Like, we're going out and changing the perception of this club in our city. And every conversation we have is an opportunity to get someone thinking about what we really do, as opposed to this perception that's out there about our organization, which had existed for several years. So we're building, we're working hard to get this thing going in the right direction. And we got a lot of like-minded people in the building that are aligned and going in the same direction. So I feel that's a long-winded answer, Michael, but I feel we've made some progress here in the last 18 months.
How do you think corporate sponsorships have gone for the Edmonton Elks in rebuilding that?
Yeah, so my first year there, we were very, very attentive to improving that. And we actually beat the historic high of the team in corporate sponsorships. We're going to be close to $1 million past that again this year. So we're going to set another all-time high. And for me, the corporate sponsorship piece, people talk about business all the time. Business is relationships. Business is about being in a mutually beneficial situation with someone that you trust. And the trust piece was what was holding us back a little bit, and some inconsistency in leadership, presidents coming and going. That makes corporate partners a little bit nervous. So we did a really, really good job of building relationships. I tell this story all the time. When I first got to Edmonton, when I first got to the Elks this time, I had a meeting with some of the biggest corporate leaders in the city. And there's about 10 to 15 of them in that room. And for God's sakes, guys, it was just venom. They were just like, this is what's wrong, and that's what's wrong, and this hasn't been taken care of, and this relationship's not good, and it's transactional, and it's this and it's that. And I'll be honest with you guys, like, of those 15 guys, I got about 8 to 10 of them now that are actually like working really closely with me on a daily basis and spreading good things about us. And I think it was a matter of like giving people a chance to say what they thought was wrong, and then saying to them, look, the Thompson family and I do not do business that way. This is how we're going to do business moving forward. And this is how it's going to look different. And then actually putting our money where our mouth is, like showing up at charitable events, helping them have a good charitable arm for part of their business, like using our club to serve the community. All those things have been really, really good, and gaining traction and gaining some credibility with the business community. And we're in a really, really good spot right now. I would say we did go from last in revenue when I first got there. We leapfrogged 2 teams, 3 teams in some categories, and I look to take another significant move this year.
Wow. Excellent. Good. That's good to hear, Chris. David Braley, not David Braley, Bobby Ackles really wrote the book on corporate sponsorship in Vancouver, creating the Water Boys organization. Is that something that you're kind of mirroring at this point in time?
Yeah, it's funny because they have the Copper Jackets in Edmonton. So when the Oilers were in trouble here for many years, they had this decade of darkness, they called it, here in Edmonton. And for hockey to not be popular, you're doing something wrong. And so they formed this Copper Jacket group, and they did a lot of corporate work with the community. Pat LaForge, and there's a few other guys that were involved with that. And I've been in contact with Pat and talked to him about sort of organizing something similar here. where you have a bunch of people sort of really advocating and pulling for the franchise. For me, the biggest thing was just getting people talking about us in a positive and accurate way. Like people were talking about us like it was 5 years ago, like we were doing some of the things that were happening, like the firing of Dwayne Mandrusiak and the the turning over of staff and all sorts of different things that those things weren't happening anymore. We changed our philosophy. So having those big corporate guys that were in that meeting now going out and working for us, that creates momentum in your community. And Edmonton's not a large corporate town. Like obviously it's a big city, but it's a community in Edmonton. It's not like some of these other places where it's kind of a cold corporate thing. Here it's community based, and there's 10 to 15 guys that they like. If those people aren't talking good about you, you're probably not doing the right things, first of all. But secondly, you're not going to get traction anywhere else because it's like everybody knows each other here. So those were sort of the steps, is just to sort of regain the trust and credibility with that group of people.
Has there been a moment over the last year in which you felt, I think we're on the right track where it's clicking with the staff? Is there something, where is that ha-ha moment? I think that this thing is really turning.
Yeah, there's been a few really good ones. And guys, anytime you're in a rebuild, there's always like that it's getting really good, and then you feel like jumping off a building the next day, and then it starts feeling pretty good again, and then you're like, oh,
like a roller coaster.
I missed that one. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things where it works in ebbs and flows at first. You need the right people in the building, you need the right people doing the right jobs, and then when you get all that aligned, and then everybody kind of believes in the same thing, then you really have that traction going for you. We're getting there. We're not there yet, but we've got some really good people working on getting us going in the right direction.
Now, I have to admit, I've been cringing during training camp the first 2 days with some of our players coming back saying, we're going to make the Grey Cup in this year, that we're committed to winning Grey Cup.
They should be.
I'm cautious. So
you want players saying that.
You want players.
I know we
that,
want.
Yeah,
players.
Exactly.
I know we want players saying that, but I always get ribbed for Edmonton doing well on this show. So my question to you is, how confident do you think Edmonton's going to be in competing with Calgary, Winnipeg, and Saskatchewan this year?
So BC.
And BC.
Yeah, BC too. I think BC's a challenge. BC's a formidable opponent right now with that quarterback and some of the other things they've got. Like I look at it last year, we had the youngest team in the league, and we had a huge deficit. Our offensive line was not very good last year. We had some issues last year at offensive line, and we had a few other issues just in getting some maturity going from a coaching standpoint. Like even with that going on, in meaningful games towards the end of the year, we beat Calgary, we beat Saskatchewan, and we beat Winnipeg. So we were competitive last year, but we had no earthly idea how to win yet. And I think we've upgraded in every significant position. We've got I feel the best defensive end in the league. We pulled him from Saskatchewan. We pulled 3 starting offensive linemen from Hamilton in free agency. And I watched the first 3 days of camp I've watched here. We are unrecognizable on offense. Like we can protect the quarterback right now. We've got a quarterback who knows where to go with the ball. I think we have a very talented young team now. Now, this is the problem with people saying they're going to the Grey Cup. The journey to build a championship level team started a week ago and doesn't end until November. And it's day by day by day by day. You have to build layers and build connections and build skill and build a million different things to consider yourself even a good team, let alone a championship team. So when you start talking about, I love thinking that you're going to win, because if you don't think you're going to win, you're not going to. But I also think you need to really focus on the day-to-day things that need to happen in order for us to accomplish that goal. Like when we talked to the team at the beginning of the year, we had the initial startup meeting, and Mark spoke, Ed spoke, and I spoke, and we all spoke very, very similar about, look, be where your feet are, understand that on a daily basis we have to get our work done, and the rest of the stuff's going to take care of itself. Let's not worry about next year's contract. Let's not worry about maybe I might get a chance to go to the NFL one more time. Let's not worry about, we're going to go to the Grey Cup this year. Let's worry about right now. And I think if our guys can do that, we're going to be in pretty good shape.
Chris,
Looking at,
you mentioned.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was
Go
just
ahead,
going to say,
Charles.
you mentioned about your stability and integrity, how you want to run the team. How have Ed Hervey and Mark Killam really fit in and contributed to that?
Yeah, so those two guys, like when you look at those two, the story I always tell about Ed Hervey is this, like, because a lot of people see Ed, and Ed's very serious about his job. So sometimes people see him and they see the scowl on his face, and they're like, "Man, this guy, you know what I mean? You know how to take Ed." When I was coaching in Edmonton minor football, and I was part of that community where we wanted to change what we did with Adam football. Now, hold on, sorry, let me put my camera back on here. I don't know what happened there. Sorry, guys, my camera's gone down here. Yeah, my camera's gone down. Yeah. So
there you go.
Yeah, now I've disappeared here.
You're
But
back.
now I'm not there.
Nice ceiling.
I'm here, I promise. Anyway.
Nice ceiling.
He teleported away.
I know. I'm here though. I promise. I don't know where I am, but anyway. So
At least the
we wanted to change
technical difficulties.
Yeah, sorry guys. I don't know what to do here.
It's all good.
That's okay.
Okay.
Just keep going.
We can hear you.
Okay. So like I wanted to do something, and it wasn't just me that wanted to do something. There was a few people that were vested in the sport who wanted to change the way Adam football was done. Adam football here was played 12 on 12, and like there was kids who would never even touch the ball or never be anywhere near the field of play or near the ball when it was taking place. So long-term athlete development says you should be playing 6-on-6 when you're that old. Like all that way, everybody's near the ball, everybody gets to touch the ball. It's better for player development. Ed Hervey, the year after he won the Grey Cup, went to community halls with me to sell the parent committees on adopting 6-man Adam football as opposed to 12-man Adam football. So that's how committed Ed Hervey is to the community and to making sure that good things happen in the city of Edmonton. So for me, that was a big sign for him. And like I've always known Ed. I played with him for a lot of years. We won 2 Grey Cups together. Like Ed does what he says he's going to do. And Ed cares about the people around him, and Ed'll do anything for the city. And Mark's the same way. Like I talked to Mark a lot when I was coaching at the University of Alberta. I think Mark's he's a community-minded person. He's a family man. He believes in integrity and consistency. And when I was looking at these guys to bring him in, I knew Ed believed in those things because I've known him for a long time. But a big part of interviewing Mark was making sure that he was aligned in that area. So they're doing great work. They very much reflect. And guys, it's not my views. Like I believe in those things, but the reason the Thompson family hired me because I believe in those things. And that's why it's a good fit, because when they were looking for someone, there were people way more experienced in business than I am, but they wanted a culture change to the things I'm talking about. And those things I can get people to buy into. And I think as an organization, we can really move forward with those things. So those two guys have done a great job adopting that ideology. And I think we're moving forward on all fronts with the same message.
Question I've got is regarding season ticket holders, and I get a lot of Edmonton Elks season ticket former season ticket holders yelling at me. The question I've got for you is, what has been your organizational plan and outreach to try to turn that around and get the former season ticket holders to come back? Because you had mentioned that these people are thinking 4 or 5 that all of the issues that happened like 4 or 5 years ago, they're no longer happening in the present tense. And I know that they want to come back. In fact, on a few of them, I'm willing to probably buy a season ticket, a couple. And so you could give to some of these season ticket former ticket holders to get them to come back. But is there a plan in place to re-engage those former season ticket holders?
Yeah, so we have a lapse. Yeah, absolutely. That's part of it for sure, right? So we have a lapsed season ticket holder list. So we reach out to those guys regularly to make sure that they know that we'd like to get them back. It's funny, those conversations go a couple different ways. Sometimes guys are really happy. Like, guys, I've made hundreds of calls since I've been here. Like, I call people. If somebody complains about something, I call them directly. If someone's, like, I talked to Tom 2 days ago, I talked to this Tom, I'm not gonna give his last name. He'd been a 25-year season ticket holder. He'd given up his seats because the way remember I told you guys our ticketing was a mess? Well, He was sitting somewhere and they moved someone from a different part of the stadium to right beside him. And the guy sitting beside him was paying half the price he was for his ticket. So he was like, why am I paying double what this guy's paying? And that was happening all over our stadium. Like, it was just a disaster what we were doing with ticketing. So that offended a lot of our fans. And I talked to Tom and had a long conversation with him about like why that happened and how we've corrected those things. And now Tom's actually in correspondence right now with Francois, one of my best ticketing guys, to see if we can get him back here at least a few games and then maybe look at season tickets going forward. So again, it's that hand-to-hand combat. Like, you're just, every single person you have a chance to talk to, you try to let them know what we're about here. And it's gonna, Michael, it can't happen overnight. There's no possible way. I can't stand at the top of a building and have all of Edmonton listen to me, but I can certainly get key people understanding what we're all about. And just every time someone connects with us, getting them to feel the same way about us in a positive way. And it's going to turn, but somebody else 2 minutes ago just said win. Yeah, we got to win too, because there's only so much fairy dust you can spread around before people are like, okay, guys, it's pro football. You got to win some games here. I get community. I get wanting to connect and all those different things, but people want to be proud of something. They want to come and be proud of the product. And I don't care where you are. If you have a crappy team, people aren't going to come watch you in pro sports. That's just the way it is.
Well, unless you're the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, right. Well, even them guys, like, I don't know, man. I grew up in Toronto, and it's the corporate community buoys that team, right? It's just they just buy all those tickets because they know they're going to be able to get send their clients there.
Yeah, it's weird.
When
Too
you
bad
and
the Argos didn't have the same respect. I got a couple questions for you, Chris, before you book yourself out of here. You're talking about the community and the spirit of the team and the Elks moving forward and your system inside, which is great. But how challenging is it working with the league and this dysfunction of the league in general? And I'm going to quantify that is the fact that we haven't had a decent website for half a dozen years. We still don't have a CFL app. We still don't have a plethora of stats. We don't have it's literally a clusterfuck in that organization. And I'm just curious on how challenging that is for you. And do you have any confidence in it moving forward? Because not many people have confidence in Stuart Johnson in his role as president of the league or the commissioner of the league. And we're having some serious challenges with what he's doing.
Okay.
So how's that affecting you and how are you dealing with it?
Okay, so I got a few things to talk to you about. The first one I'll talk to you about is stats. Okay, so a few years ago when Randy Ambrosi was the commissioner here, he got into a partnership with Genius Sports. And Genius, this was right after COVID. So Genius Sports were supposed to be the ones that provided us with the stats that were going to allow us to move into the modern era of sports and sports betting.
Yep.
Genius Sports had a very, I know. And Genius Sports had a very good name and they had a lot of things going for them. And we got into a deal and we became partners with Genius Sports. That hasn't evolved the way we were all hoping in regards to the stats. And it's not, trust me when I say this, the owners, because I sit in those owners meetings and they let me in the room. I'm an alternate governor here for the Elks, right? And they are on Genius. They want this. They know the importance of it. And that's like, we're going to get fantasy football this year. The stats are coming out this year. The website one is trickier. Now, the website one, we've just invested about $6 million as a league into a new website. And it was slated to come out in May, but it took longer to build than they were hoping. So I had staff on the build committee. There were a bunch of people on it. I would say that by September, there will be a new website in place that's far more modern, that's actually like a professional level website that doesn't crash and all those things happen. I'll say this about Stu Johnson. Like, I know he's had some very controversial things come up. He's a good business person as far as what he as far as getting things moving on like the website standpoint, the stats. He's made huge progress in those areas. The TV deal, he's made some huge progress in negotiating a good TV deal for the league. There's some good things he's done. And I think, when you look at our league and you look at the frustration people have with some of the changes that have happened, it's really hard for the owners who are losing money to just stay status quo and to keep doing the same things and to not look for drastic change when the vast majority of those guys are losing money every year. So they sit in that room and they're like, okay, what are we going to do here to change this? And here's the stat, guys, that's going to shock you. Okay. In Canada, TV viewership in the summer is owned by the CFL. We have between 500,000 and 800,000 people watching every one of our broadcasts. There's only like the odd event in Major League Baseball that beats our TV broadcasts. But then you look at the stands and there's just not that many people there. So it's really strange sometimes almost to understand the difference between the two. And that's, as a league, we have to figure out, how do we get people back to the stadiums to drive that gate and to drive the atmosphere and to drive those different things, because we have a lot of people in Canada who are watching this product. And I think Stu sees that, and he sees the TV audience, and he's like, okay, how do we cater to that even more? Because that's where most of our bread and butter is right now. So I don't know, guys. Like, I agree with you. There's been some stuff where people are confused about like the rules and all those different things. But I can promise you this: it's all coming with the best of intent from our owners and from our commissioner. They're trying to build this business in a way where it can survive long term.
Okay, if we're going to talk about the rules for a second, I'd love to, because I'm not a fan, and I'm one of the first to do this. I've been with the CFL since 1971, so 55 years. And I am absolutely opposed to just about every one of these rule changes. They suck. And it's an insult to the history of this game to be Americanizing it the way that it is. And I know that that's a very harsh statement. And I honestly don't see how any of these rule changes are going to help you guys at the gate. The only thing I can see is that you're setting this up for either a merger with the UFL or expansion into America, because I don't see the benefit of pissing off your longtime fans.
Yeah. So I'll say this, okay, and you guys can take this for what it is, because I sit in those meetings with the owners. Now I don't I don't make the decisions in there. They're all billionaires, and I'm just trying to run a CFL club here. But I sit in those meetings with those owners. Not one time has anyone ever said that they wanted to Americanize the Canadian game. Not one time. They've talked about, how do we increase scoring? They've talked about, how do we increase viewership? They've talked about, how do we make it more professional? Like the clock stuff. The clock is very inconsistent in our league. Like, that gets blown in at different times. And that's not a great thing for the consistency of the game. So running a set 35-second clock until you get to the last 3 minutes, that might make things a little bit more organized and a little bit more predictable. So the things they've talked about, and Stu Johnson, honestly, guys, remember I told you guys about the TV, the massive TV stats, the goalposts being in the middle of the shots for TV. That was one of the big things. It was in the goalposts were in the way. So from a TV product standpoint, and guys, I get it. You guys don't agree, but they're
not at all.
I know, guys, but remember, you didn't lose $6 million last year. Some of the guys who made the changes did. So they're in a spot where they're like, we got to try something different here. We're going to try something different. And
I lost $2 million last year. So yeah, I'm not in that ballgame.
You know, so, and some of those guys, like, I'm telling you, like, all I can say to you is that the intent is there to do the right thing by the league. And none of it involves making it a more American type game. That's not what the intent of any of this stuff is. Or it's never been brought up in those meetings anyway. Unless they have top secret meetings where I'm not invited to, I don't know, but I don't think so.
What do you think we need to do to grow the game in Toronto? Because to me, Toronto is a vital market to get more seats in the fans. Get more fans in the seats.
Toronto's a tricky market because there's just so much to do in Toronto, right? So I would say that you have to concentrate, and again, like when Canada was diversified and when waves of immigration came through Canada, I'm not sure how much effort was put into indoctrinating youth from other cultures into the sport of football. I'm not sure how many people were invited into the sport.
I don't think there was.
And that's it's funny because I was in my office 2 days ago, and we have these two great people who run Punjabi radio here in Edmonton. And the guy was sitting there, and he literally said to me, he goes, "Chris, our culture loves physical sport. They just don't know anything about this." And I was like, "So how are we going to change that?" And we talked about getting to the community centers with them and going into that culture and teaching them about the sport and getting kids involved in flag and involved in tackle and all. But you have to figure out a way to communicate with new Canadians so that they start choosing football as an option as opposed to just the one they know, which is soccer, right? And that's I think that has to be a marketing ploy, not just by the league, but by every team. You have to reach out to those cultural communities and sort of want to engage with them. But you can't, like, our strategy was we'll have a Punjabi radio broadcast. And I said to my staff, I go, that's like the first like layer of paint on something. Like, that's just like making awareness. Now we got to go to the communities. We got to get out there. We got to figure out how to work with them to make sure that we can get access to the kids and make sure that we're showing them how great this sport is. Then we can say we've tried to engage with the community. But right now we're very superficial. And I would say in Toronto, that might have fallen apart a little bit in Toronto, as far as just like, we're just going to keep marketing to the same people who have always watched the sport, as opposed to find ways to get it into younger people from recent immigrants. And I think that's where I think the future of the league lies.
So if I ask you today, 2.5 years after you've accepted this job, how would you define success today for the Edmonton Elks?
Well, it's not quite 2 years that I've been here. So I came in here November this year will be my 2-year mark. Okay. So for me, success is, there's a bunch of different measures for it for me. I look at it as continuity on our football team. The vast majority of our roster from last year is returning this year. The vast majority of our coaches from last year are returning this year. We had lots of players stay in town this offseason and work in the community and be part of our community. I'm working with the Thompson family to create a community center right down by Commonwealth, where we can have more community events and more of our players being involved with the kids, so we can provide them jobs in the off season so that they stay here in the winter. All those things are really, really important. And those things are the things that, to me, build trust with our community, which will eventually allow us to be successful. Now, we talked season tickets a few minutes ago. Our season ticket renewal revenue is the highest it's been in about a decade. So we have more people renewing their season tickets this year. We're going to actually, and I don't want to curse this, we're going to have season ticket growth this year for the first time in a very, very long time, which is incredible for us because it's been on a downward spiral since 2017. We've gone from 32,000 average attendance down to about 16,000 average attendance. So for me, success looks like re-engaging with that community and starting to build up again and build some positive momentum with the community. And then, of course, some more wins. I really think this is a playoff caliber team this year with the talent we have. We have to figure out a way to have this team come together and be very, very strong.
Interesting. I had a personal conversation with David Braley one time, and I asked him what CFL team he had never had to financially help. And he piped up right away and he said the Edmonton team, because they were always an extremely well-managed and well-run organization. That went to shit in a handbag a while back, and I'm really happy to see that it's coming back.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a very proud franchise that needs to be stable. The CFL needs a strong Edmonton team.
I agree with you 100%. I really, to be honest with you guys, like I said to you, I left in 2005, and when I came back in 2024, I couldn't believe it. So there's some things that changed, and there's some things we need to get back to some things, but at the same time, we need to get going with some modern approaches to the way we do business and modern football business. But guys, I do still think the base of the way they used to do things, they were all in one little small office. They all worked incredibly hard. They were all very close, the staff that used to work with the Eskimos, and they all cared deeply about the community and about the team. We can get back to that. That's just a change of culture. That's just a change of mindset. And that we're getting back to that. And I think in many ways we are. So I'm hopeful that that's going to start reflecting on the byproduct on the field.
So guys, you asked me why I chose Edmonton as my team. It's because of Chris Morris.
He wasn't the president when you chose them.
So full of
I
it. It's not
appreciate it, though,
fun.
Michael. Thank you.
Shit, Michael.
Thank you very much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
No worries, guys.
Yeah.
You know,
very good.
Any organization that deals really well with the public and has a good reputation and deals with it. In fact, I just had this with a company down in Australia where I had the most amazing experience with customer service that I have ever experienced in my 64 years on this planet. And I had to give them a review because of that. And I had to give a shout out to the president of the organization because to provide for him to be providing an environment in which people like that can excel and do what needs to be done that's correct for the organization, that has to start at the top. That doesn't start with the guys on the front line. You have to create that environment. You have to create that community. And it really sounds like that's what you're doing, Chris. So, you know, good for you, buddy. I appreciate it.
No, thanks. And we're trying hard. I know we got a bunch of people here that are really committed, that are working very hard to get this turned around. So we're hopeful that we can be, I think there's a lot of good things happening in the community already. I'm very hopeful we can be very competitive on the field this year.
Cool.
Well, I appreciate
Is there
it.
anything that you would like to ask us about? We've been sitting here rattling you.
Yeah. No, when did you start this? Like how long? This has been going on for many, many years, I understand.
Charles and myself started this about 11 and a half years ago. Will came in about 6 months later. And the three of us have been running this podcast for well over 10 years, good decade. Michael and Scott came in the last year.
That's awesome. And so you spread, like you talk about all different teams, like you get guests on here. Like how do you normally work your podcasts?
We are fans of the CFL. Yes, we all represent a different team or certain team, but we love the league and the Canadian football. And that's kind of one of my problems with the rule changes, but we'll leave that alone for right now. But yeah, no, we've been doing this. This is about Let's Talk CFL. This is not Let's Talk BC Lions or Riders or Bombers or whoever.
Actually,
we talk the league.
Sometimes it is Let's Talk BC Lions, but we won't go down that road right now. Okay?
Shut up, William.
You talk about the stamp slot, don't.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Michael
Yes,
can't shut up about the Elks.
Well, that's Michael.
That's
He's
true.
been very depressed most of his life. So, anyways, he hasn't had the.
I think he wants to marry Cody Fajardo.
Yeah, you're on the upswing, Michael.
Stay
strong, Michael. Don't listen to these guys. We're on the upswing. Don't worry. We're bringing some good news for you.
We're all on the same page with Edmonton getting better. We just we have some hesitation on some key personnel.
I'm not on the same page with Edmonton getting better. Okay.
No, you're
I hate Edmonton. Always have hated Edmonton. But you know what? I do miss their fans coming to Calgary on Labor Day.
Yeah.
Because they don't come as much as they used to. And I was hoping
it's hard when you're getting the heck beat out of you every week. So
I
hopefully, we'll start coming down more. Hopefully.
I mean, and in reality, you guys have made some great moves. I really, really, really like your coaching staff. And the part I like most is you've brought in ex-Eskimos that have won in the past. And I think that creates a whole different atmosphere. You know what I mean? From what you've had in the past 5 years. So.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I think we're on the right path. We just got to keep working here, and
Yep.
I think we're going to be in a good shape.
Well, I promise you, I will keep supporting you and arguing and try to bring some of those former Elks back on board.
There you go. Well, you guys let me know if any of you ever come to Edmonton. Let me know. Make sure you drop me a line, and we can, we'll get together. We'll get you to the game. Okay.
Love to do it.
Okay.
Will do.
Okay, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
We're gone over your 30-minute time frame here, but I greatly appreciate you taking the time and coming and spending it with us on 8:30 on a Tuesday night. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, guys. Good meeting y'all.
Thank you.
You take care, my friend.
Talk to you later. Bye.
There we go, guys.
Yeah, you know what the scariest thing is? I think with that guy running the organization, they're going to get a lot better.
They are in good hands with him. 100%.
They have to get better. They just need a quarterback.
No, but that guy is pretty sharp, I think.
Yeah, he's a good guy. They've got a good one there.
Yeah,
he's saying the right things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did.
And that's
you, Scott? Where you been, Scott?
How's it going, sir?
It's kind of funny too, because if you look and you listen to what his story was, his story and the way he talks and stuff like reminds me a whole lot of what Bobby Ackles used to say. And he was a guy that was with the Lions in 1986. He left. He came back to the Lions, I believe, in 2002. And I think he said kind of the same thing. It was an unrecognizable organization. And he started doing the same type of stuff.
And here we go again. We're back to let's talk BC Lions.
No. I'm just comparing it because it's a similar story.
But on a serious question for you guys, when I've gone back and looked at old BC Lion games, and I've seen your stadium packed with over 50,000 people there. It's kind of surprising, even though you've got a great fan base now at 30. What happened?
It's not 30.
No, it's about 25.
Mike, I can answer that. They kicked 25,000 white people out of Vancouver because they couldn't afford to live there. Okay. That's what happened, Mike.
And there's a lot of truth to that.
Yes, but another thing there's a couple of things that hurt the Lions. In the 80s, and one thing is in the 80s and 90s, BC Lions home games were blacked out. You couldn't watch them locally in BC. That took a large generation of younger fans out of it because they limited exposure to the product, where if you didn't buy a ticket, you didn't just get to see any home games. In the mid-1990s, the Lions went through a plethora of awful people running the team. Murray Pezim, who was good at the beginning, but he was nothing more than a blowhard. Bill Comrie was a decent owner until things got a bit rocky, and then he jumped. Then you might, I don't know if you'll recognize his name or not, Nelson Scalbania.
Yeah.
Nearly bankrupted the BC Lions. He bought the team. He didn't have any money. This was in an era in the mid-90s when they were doing the U.S. expansion too, where they basically give a team to anyone that was willing to hand them a check. And the fan base, which was in the late 80s, around 40,000, dropped down to under 20. It dropped down to around 15,000. And it just, they went through a series of real hula hoops that really kind of hurt the credibility of the team. Bobby Ackles got some of it back, but it's kind of gone up and down since then.
Well, unfortunately for the BC Lions, Bobby Ackles died way too soon.
Right.
And he had the team going in the right direction, and what happened. And I don't want to talk about the BC Lions anymore because Will's starting to fall asleep.
Yep.
But yeah, BC never recovered.
Right.
And they're slowly doing that now. And hopefully I don't know if we have a president in our organization with the enthusiasm that Chris Morris does, because I know the last couple of guys that we've had in that organization really stunk. So you got to build a culture. You got to build a culture. And if you don't build the culture, and it's got to come from the top down, if you don't do that, you're going to flounder.
I admit I'm biased. I've been watching yeah, go ahead.
I think you should start a Cody Fajardo fan club, buddy.
No.
I really think you should.
Claire Hanna can be the first person in there.
Send them little stuffed animals or something and cheer for Cody every day and stuff like that.
Make sure those teddies can do the spin
Okay, move. I have a question for you. Does anybody know this? Like, if a player is really got to the apex of their stardom, is there a Cody Fajardo bobblehead?
No.
There you go.
It could be.
There you go.
Shopping right for one forever.
There was talks
and he can only find the one from Saskatchewan.
You're gonna have to go out and build some of these, get them made in Malaysia or Indonesia or something like that. Get some little Cody Fajardo bobbleheads and start giving them away. That's what you should do there, Michael.
Yeah, but the thing is, Cody Fajardo on Sunday talked about, he learned a lot from his experience from Saskatchewan, and he admitted in his public interview that he made a lot of mistakes at Saskatchewan.
Well, of course he admitted it. We saw them all.
But he goes, I've grown up. I'm now a responsible adult, and I become I understand the mistakes that I made.
So let me ask.
He wasn't a responsible adult in his late 20s.
Let me ask you something, Mike. I got something to ask you. I've been thinking about you all day today, and this is what I've come up with, and you would know the answers to these questions.
I've been thinking about some lady friend, but you can think about Michael if you want.
What do you think? What do you think of? Refresh my memory, guys. Who was the starting quarterback in Edmonton last year in the beginning of the year? What's his name?
Trey Ford.
Trey Ford. What do you think of Trey Ford as a quarterback?
I think he's horrible.
Okay. And when did Cody become the starter?
Game 7.
Why did it take 6 games for Cody to become the starter if Trey Ford is such a terrible quarterback and Cody is so good?
Because
they didn't have any faith in him.
No, they invested over $300,000 in Trey Ford.
Who's the fool?
Hey, Mike, if you buy a $400,000 car and it breaks down every day, you don't fucking drive it.
Well, we kicked it to the can, didn't we?
We got rid of it. Not quick enough.
We got rid of it.
Okay, well, I was going to say it actually took Cody 7 games for him to show them that he could actually play football.
And we won 7 games. I believe we won seven games last year.
Yes.
I don't even know. I think it was 5.
But whatever. Yeah.
Cody won 7 games.
Anyways.
I have no expectation. Cody is not Nathan Rourke. I don't expect him to be Trevor Harris. But for Edmonton, he's a good quarterback for Edmonton. He's better than what we have.
Okay.
That's fair.
Sure.
We'll see.
Yep. Anyways, what else are we talking about?
You're right, Michael. They had 7 victories last year.
With Cody.
Well, Trey didn't win any.
Really?
No, he didn't win any.
Who'd have thunk it?
Okay, training camps are now underway. We had the rookie camp start on Wednesday. The full camp started Sunday. We're now Tuesday, so we're 3 days into a full training camp. 30 minutes into the training camp on Sunday, Jovan Santos Knox is carried off the field in a stretcher. 30 minutes. What's that?
On a stretcher.
On a stretcher.
You said in a stretcher. In a stretcher.
Well, he's probably under the blankie. Okay.
Okay. Sure.
You're keeping him warm.
Good correction.
Keeping him warm. Okay. It was Hamilton, right? So that sucks. So, this is the biggest problem with training camp. Okay. I don't know what to say. I mean, at one time training camp, players used to come to the camp to get ready, to get in shape. Now the players are coming in full. They've been working out 24/7 for the last year, and they come in top of their game. They come into training camp and they get hurt. I found there's more injuries lately in the last decade in training camp, serious ones, especially like an Achilles injury.
Lots of Achilles.
Than we ever had before. And is it because the players are in too good a shape?
Yeah, are they coming in over prepared?
And I've been
coming in over prepared.
I've been
well,
saying
they've not been giving their bodies a rest.
I've been saying for years they need to have a break. You can't go like that continuously. I know it's what they all do now, but if you go back to the 60s and the 70s in the NHL, these guys used to come to training camp fat.
Mm-hmm. So and the answer to this, William, is we're obviously paying the players too much money, and their salaries need to be reduced, so they all have to go get off-season jobs. Maybe. So they can stay out of the gym.
Maybe. I just don't see. It's like that old saying of too much is not necessarily good either, right? Nothing in excess. And I know they're professional athletes, but you still need some downtime. I really do believe that.
I agree.
They need to start doing yoga and Tai Chi and stuff.
No, but they do that stuff. They do
Yeah,
that
but-
stuff.
Yeah, but these sports organizations have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in their training, bringing in top-notch trainers to develop these players. They ought to know that these players need a break.
Yeah, and
maybe
quarterbacks
they've
in
never
Toronto
thought that
sexually
way.
harass these people.
Maybe they've never thought that way. Maybe they think differently than us. I don't know. Maybe it's the outside looking in.
Football is football is the most contact sport that's played, and these players physically cannot be playing football year round. And that's what
they don't. But they don't.
They don't play year round, but they're definitely in the gym year round. And that's something that has not happened in the past. Okay, that is something that is relatively new since we started paying players so that they don't have to have a second job. Like Andrew Harris and Adam Bighill, and I'm using these guys as an example. They're getting paid enough, or they're now both retired, that they didn't have to work in the off seasons, that they spent their entire time in the gym.
There's nothing wrong with them making money and not going to the gym. I have no problem with
that's what they do. They feel the need to do that to get their body in pristine shape,
right,
to be bigger, better, bolder, badder, right? And
there's also
because they want to be able to get that bigger contract. They want to be able to get that trophy. They want to set that record. They want to be able at the top of their game. So they're not taking a day off to rest.
No,
they're not taking the week off.
Was it confirmed that Santos Knox was in good shape or not? Maybe he wasn't in good shape, and maybe that's how he got injured.
We can't say one way or the other.
It only took 15 minutes.
Right.
Well, they were talking about that today at Edmonton training camp, that some of the players were taking some very big hits on other players on the offensive line. The defense was taking big hits on the offensive players. My question is, when I heard that, why are they doing that?
Because they want a position on the team. Okay. They want to
younger guys there trying to make an impression.
They need to make an impression on the coaches, so they have to come out there in full contact. They need to show a highlight reel. They need to be bigger, better, badder than the other guys. Yes. So they're going to get hits. There are more fights in training camp than there is any other time of the year. Okay, and that's a team fighting against themselves. Never mind another team.
Yeah, but you're playing with a roster that's significantly reduced. There's not a lot of players in that training camp compared to other leagues. I just think there's
100 players. How many do you want?
There's 75. There's
75.
There's 75 players in the Edmonton camp, and really, I think that, wouldn't you say it would come down to coaching? That the coaching staffs are putting too much pressure on these players to hit like that? They shouldn't be doing it the first week.
I'm not sure it is the coaching, though. I think it's guys that are trying to make a name for themselves. They're trying to stand out.
Charles.
It's called job security.
Yeah.
If you don't impress, you don't show up. You don't impress, you're gone.
Yeah. Especially if you're a veteran, you don't want to be seen to be dogging it during camp. It's going to come off poorly on you.
And on top of how quick it happens, training camp is only 2 or 3 weeks. You don't have much time to make an impression.
Calgary and Saskatchewan already got a game on
Monday.
My
first cutdown is next week.
So then my question to you is, why are they cutting down? Like they had to cut down 10 players, I think, by tomorrow or by Thursday.
No, the rookies had to be cut down. They don't have to do any now till after the
first preseason game.
Why did they need to do that?
That's just the rules they have set up.
It's the rules that they follow.
Uh-huh.
I just think it's not necessary. Why not keep those players for the entirety of the training camp? Since
It has
we're
a
only
lot to
looking,
do with economics, Michael. They're trying to save teams money in having to house these people and feed them and everything else. When we know that these players aren't going to make the final roster, why do we keep them on staff?
Right.
It doesn't make sense. So, it's an economics thing. So they've all agreed that they can probably whittle down the first 10 players right after rookie camp and say that these guys, thank you very much for coming in. We appreciate that. You're not going to stick around. And off they go. Do you lose a diamond in the rough? Probably.
Sometimes.
Sometimes you do.
Or not.
I know listening to Corey
Yeah.
Mace with some of his interviews from training camp, when the reporters ask Mace about certain players, you can hear it in his voice. They're like, yep, that guy's not making it.
well, you could say that about every team in the league.
Yeah, every team is like
Yeah.
that, though. They all have players that are not going to be there. So why spend the money on them?
Man, and if Cody's a shoe-in in Edmonton, fuck, they must have some terrible quarterbacks on that team. Anyways, moving on.
I'm just disappointed we haven't found a home for that kicker from Saskatchewan.
He's in Ottawa.
Brett Lowther?
He's in Ottawa.
He's in
He's in
Ottawa.
Ottawa. Yeah, he's signed in Ottawa.
He released, dude, keep up.
Yeah,
Come on, stop spending all your time.
Where the fuck have you been, Michael?
On the Elks website and on what's her name's website and pay attention to the rest of the league.
There's 8 other teams in the league, Mike.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
It's awfully hard for me to take my eyes off that.
Don't start. Don't start. Don't start.
Okay, in your thing here from May 12th, you've got Ottawa releases longtime kicker Lewis Ward. A surprising move given Ward's past consistency, but still relevant to the week cycle. Well, they released Lewis Ward and signed Brett Lowther. Okay, now why would they do that?
Which is stupid, but
I have a feeling Ward wants to pursue things other than football.
possible.
It's also he doesn't kick long.
Neither does Lowther.
Okay, he's a very consistent kicker from inside the 35, but they don't let him go long.
But let's be honest, Lowther should retire. He's done.
We're not talking about a kicker. Stop
because we are
right now.
Okay, Michael,
Yes.
if that's the case, Sean White is the longest tenured player in the CFL. And not by a little bit.
By a long shot.
Okay. So you're saying that he should retire?
He's not Brett Lowther.
He was the best kicker in the CFL last year. I know that's not setting the bar real high for Will, but
I promise I won't talk about a kicker. I'll be quiet.
okay.
Lowther needs to regain his confidence, is what he needs to do.
Same with Cody Fajardo.
Yeah.
Same with Vernon Adams.
Some are more possible than others.
Well, that's another interesting thing. Why would Calgary extend Vernon Adams 2 years?
Because they
To
believe
give
in him.
him confidence that they have faith in him, that they're supporting him in his mission, and that they believe that he is capable of taking the team to the nth degree. That's a confidence building move right there. Is it not?
Will, do you have that confidence
What?
about Adams getting a 2-year extension?
He's the best quarterback that's been in Calgary since Bo Levi Mitchell.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's not setting the bar very high either.
yeah, it is. He won 2 Grey Cups with the team. Okay, so
Right.
that's all I'm going to
And
say.
Mike, when you look at it, they
no. I'm talking about since Bo left.
Well, I know. I mean, once again, I think Vernon Adams. I'm waiting, and I've said this before. I'm waiting for his breakout season, and it hasn't happened yet.
No.
He's had great seasons, but until he goes to the promised land, he's just somebody the same as Nathan Rourke, the same as the dude in Montreal. They're all the same, man.
Well,
And
no, they're not, because Nathan Rourke's only played 36 games. Davis Alexander's only played 12 games. You can't put him in the
Right.
same category as somebody who's been in the league for 8 years.
Yeah, but he's been in the league for 8 years. How long has he been a starter?
Well,
5.
he's been bopping around all over the place, hasn't he?
How long has he been a starter? We got to look that up. I'm going to say 3, maybe 4.
Hey, 4 years is a long time.
Yep.
Well, the
other part to that is you sign a guy like with Nathan Rourke in BC, they signed him to a contract extension, so that wasn't on his mind throughout the regular season. Get that off Vernon Adams' head too, of going
That's a good point.
If I don't perform, where am I going to be next? Get that out of his head.
I mean, let's face it. You can give a guy a contract, and if he doesn't perform, you can
let him
cut
cut
him
because there's no guarantees.
That's correct.
So did they waste anything? No.
Maybe that will help Adams' confidence that there's no Nathan Rourke coming in behind him. There's nobody like that coming in behind him. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what I said.
He's
I didn't listen to you. Sorry.
He has historically had 3 or 4 weeks where he loses his confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Every
said
year
that already
too, because he was like that here in BC too.
Yep.
Cody Fajardo has several seasons where he loses his confidence. So
I'm not talking about Cody.
Neither are we. We're done talking
and
about him.
the other thing too is that Adams always seems to be peaking and then he gets injured.
Yeah.
And I would hope that the first thing they said to him is when you run the ball, fall down.
Yeah.
Don't think you're 260 pounds and you can
try
run
and be
over
a running back.
Because you cannot.
Fall down. That's what you're running back for.
Well, you could say the same thing for Nathan Rourke. He doesn't fall down either.
Yeah, but I think Nathan Rourke's a little thicker than Adams is.
Oh.
I also think CJ would want the same thing out of Rourke for him to get
Michael,
down.
Mike, I agree with you with that. There's been a few times where I've been nervous about. I mean, he made me look stupid, worrying, but it only takes one hit, and that does make me nervous at times with Nathan Rourke. I'm not going to lie.
It makes me nervous because I like Nathan Rourke. I think he's the best. I think he's the best quarterback in the league, and I want him to play every game.
Of course, me too.
I mean, my God, I sure as hell don't want Cody to win by default.
Jeez, was that a joke, Mike?
He
How
might
come
still
none of
lose.
us are laughing?
I have a feeling he might still lose to default, but whatever.
Yeah, he'll do the spin move, and he'll be down.
I couldn't resist.
We know you can't, Mike.
But yeah, no, quarterbacks running is a fine, but they have to learn when to go down.
Yes. Don't try and be a running back. You're not.
Well, don't you think that that's one thing that Saskatchewan has with Trevor Harris? He knows when to go down.
No, he doesn't run.
Trevor Harris can't run.
He had two.
Down.
He
actually tripped, Mike. You just didn't realize it.
He only runs if he absolutely has to, and even then, have you ever watched him run? Doesn't look very good.
You can time him. You can time him running with a calendar.
Bo Levi Mitchell's more likely to run than Trevor Harris is.
Well, the one I worry about is Claris. I mean, that scares the hell out of me. Every time there's a play with him, I worry about him.
Most people do. But again, every quarterback is that one hit away.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Every time any of them take off, one hit away. Doesn't have to be just
quiet all of a sudden. How come?
So the question I got for you, Scott, is I have been watching Corey May's interviews during training camp. What do you think? What do you think Saskatchewan's going to do this year?
I need to see that they made the right decisions on the defense and letting some of the guys go that they didn't, and hoping that they had the right guys there to back them up. However, I've got complete faith in what Corey Mace is doing with the club. So I'm not so much my worry. My only true worry about the Riders is Harris making it a full season. I don't care about 1 or 2 games missed here. Like, that's fine, but historically, it's just not on his side right now. So that's my focus. If he can be healthy, I feel good about it. If he can't be healthy, we're done.
And you got to understand, he also doesn't have Jake Muir backing him up this year, so there's just no chance he can't get hurt.
There's no safety net.
Well, no,
That's right.
yeah. I'm still happy about that one. I'm still so happy.
Of course,
he was that close. He was that close to resigning.
Oh God, no.
Yeah, no, he was damn near there, and then all of a sudden, O'Day was just like, he just wouldn't match a dollar amount, and he said okay. So
I watched your president today. He is really an arrogant son of a gun.
You just realizing that now?
Actually, sorry, he's a dickhead.
He's a lot of names, and none of them are pleasant.
Nope.
It's like what was irritating about it, some of the questions that came up, he gave no credit to Corey Mays for building that culture there.
No, he won't.
No, he takes full credit for everything.
He wants to be the guy.
He has to go look at his bank account and see if he got his latest bonus.
Well, his latest bonus was because he's got a pretty damn good head coach.
Craig Reynolds is there by default right now because you can't let a president go when you just won a Grey Cup.
He's been there for a decade, so don't give me that shit.
Even
you
a lot
can't
of
let somebody go after winning a Grey Cup.
Yeah, I do know that
They
even
still
a lot
wouldn't
of the
let him
Rider
go.
fans hate him.
Yeah, they would have.
I can't see another team picking him up if he gets fired.
No,
not a chance.
No,
not gonna happen.
No.
Okay.
He's just.
Anything else you guys want to talk about?
No, I'm just excited that training camps got started and we finally got some news out of the CFL. And there's going to be more that's going to come out this week.
Yeah, but it's during training camp, we don't get a lot of really good news. We get a lot about player personnel changes where you're getting people that are cut, or this guy signed this, or, Toronto picked up Hamilton's cut, or this, that, or everything else. It's not anything that's really newsworthy. You might get some injuries, but, there's nothing really. We need some football. We need some football games.
You might get some surprise veterans getting cut, but that's about the extent of it.
Yeah, there will be some veterans getting cut. Yeah.
Yep.
It always happens.
We have games next week, don't we?
Monday.
Yeah, Monday.
Saskatchewan and Calgary.
This is a long weekend, isn't it, guys?
Yes, it is. I will not be there, but yeah, next Monday.
Okay.
Monday, and then I think it's the weekend.
So William,
yes.
If I boogie out to Calgary in August, like I was talking about for the 13th, do you want to take Chris Morris up on his offer there and head up to Edmonton for some nice seats? Just joking.
Get up in the box.
You never know. He's truthful because I'm not going to say he was an offensive lineman, right? So those guys are usually. Mind you, Randy Ambrosi was an offensive lineman too. So.
Got to be careful with that one.
Yeah,
I'm pretty confident my friend Chris Morris will come through with tickets.
Oh, I'm sure he would.
I'm sure. He's saying all the right things.
Because they have a lot of empty seats there, Mike.
They have a lot of
we
tickets.
need more people.
Wouldn't be hard to
please
get some.
Bring your friends.
I want some press seats.
Somebody's just handing them out on the corner. Here
What
you
go. Only two of you are coming. Why don't you bring a busload?
Bring everybody. Invite everyone you know.
Actually,
who are they playing? They're playing Toronto, aren't they?
I don't know.
You can sing the national anthem too.
Well,
I want seats right behind the Toronto bench so I can heckle Dickhead.
Chad Kelly.
Chad Kelly, yeah. I'm really good at heckling.
Do you know he makes $650,000?
Yeah.
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 He's got to take his lady friends out for dinner.
Wasn't impressing that little girl.
Nope.
Well, no, he just screamed at them, "You're coming for dinner with me. Now go."
You're coming for dinner, but no dessert.
Hey, so here, what are we going to do? Are we going to start a pool here and find out which quarterback gets injured first in the CFL season? Or is that like morbid?
That's too morbid. That's
I don't
weird.
think we should do that.
I don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that? Oh,
okay. I don't want to do that because of my answer.
Your money's on Trevor Harris, is it?
Yep.
I speak nothing right now.
It would be a safe bet.
I have a top two. One of them's Trevor Harris. The other one's Zach Collaros.
Yeah.
But they're the two most likely.
Obviously, yep.
But obviously,
you know what? I don't want to talk. I don't want to get into the discussion because it's scary. But you got Bo Levi Mitchell, you got Trevor Harris, you got Zach Collaros, you got Davis Alexander, who hasn't proved that he hasn't made a half a season yet. And I'm a little concerned about the way that Nathan Rourke plays football.
Yeah.
So, he's got to smarten up and mature a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any fear for Cody Fajardo. He's just going to go out and play football because, I don't think he really tries that hard anyhow. So how can he get hurt?
No, when he pulls off that spin move, he always gets tackled. Remember?
I'm a little bit more concerned for Taylor Powell than I am for Cody Fajardo.
And Drew Brown in Ottawa had trouble staying healthy last year too.
I'm going to be laughing.
I'm
going to be laughing at you guys when Cody Fajardo is holding up the Grey Cup.
He won't be holding up the Grey Cup, but he could run 18 games.
Could end up being. Mike, at every Grey Cup, Mike, if you're a fan, you can go and you can pose for pictures beside the Grey Cup. That's the only way Cody's going to hold up the Grey Cup.
Go.
You got to AI him in the Montreal Grey Cup.
I'm going to make Cody Fajardo fans out of you yet.
Not a fucking hope.
Good luck with that.
Mike, if you really are a fan, I want to see that Eskimo jersey with Fajardo on the back of it, okay? Elks jersey, sorry.
I think I can do that.
Okay, I want to see it, buddy.
I think I'll order one.
Okay, buddy.
And I'll see if I can get it signed.
How do you do that, Charles?
Do what?
I don't know how to make those little guys come up.
At the top, there's a button that says react. And so you just click that, and then it gets there, and if you need to laugh at it, boom. Or you can clap. You're being more polite than I did.
There's a Cody.
Does that face spin around?
No, it doesn't.
Guys are bad.
Okay, there. I learned something new. Thank you, Charles.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay, where are we going with this? There's not much on this agenda that we can do. Board of Governors approves the 2026 rule changes. Oh, there's a bunch of new rule changes. We no longer have tie games. They're going to do a shootout after your two mini games. Then they go to a shootout style 2-point conversion. Each team gets a shot at a 2-point conversion until there's a winner.
Yeah.
What do you think of this?
I'm fine with it.
Honestly, I hate spending 3 hours for a game to end in a tie. I feel like I've wasted my time. So I'm glad that they're actually going to have a decision. I'm not sure that would be my way to break it, but it's better than a tie as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I hate ties.
You know what? I think it's much better than a shootout in hockey, because then you're putting all of the pressure on your goaltender and not your team, where this way it's on your offense and your defense. So, yeah, I think that this is a much better way of doing it in that regard. So I'm comfortable with this. It's a good thing.
Sure. Me too.
Where's my iPad? I had some other things there that Jamie and I did today. Where was that?
There's also the what is it? The ability to end the game or to end the half.
Oh yeah,
something
they
about
can run.
Taking a knee. You're only
If you've got a
your team
first
is only
down,
allowed to take a knee once.
Well,
the defense can't have a timeout, and it has to be less than 40 seconds left on the clock.
Right, and you have to. I think you have to have a first down too. So that basically,
first down.
You have to be in a position that you can actually run the clock out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turnover on downs is now automatically reviewed.
I always thought they were.
I always thought they were too. I thought every turnover was.
Turnover.
That's what they kept saying on TSN. Not everyone did get reviewed as far as they kept saying everything is reviewed. So
here's where I have a problem with this. This is fucking just bothers me. Okay, so if a kick goes out of bounds through the end zone with no point awarded, a field goal attempt strikes the goalpost and no point is scored, the ball will be scrimmaged at the 40-yard line.
Which it already
Why
is.
are we giving the team half the fucking field?
No, do it at the 30. I agree with that.
I'd say 20.
It should be at the 5.
20. Should be the 20.
Yeah, 40's too far out. They used to do that too.
I mean, it's literally it's midfield.
Yeah,
they're going to take out the 55-yard line. It's going to be center field.
Yeah, it almost is. Yeah, that's a good point. Don't give them half the field. Do it to like the 30, 25, 20, something like that, not the 40. Yeah. And I didn't like that before because before, if you missed a field goal, even when they had the rouge and so on, it still came out to the 40, and I didn't like it then either.
How come you don't get the ball at the line of scrimmage?
That kind of makes more sense, actually.
You should get the ball.
Depends. You could be kicking a field goal from the 55-yard line and miss.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's on the team's option. That's their choice at that point.
I still say around the 20.
Well, actually, I think it should be the line of scrimmage.
No. Why?
Because the offensive team that's trying for it is going to get them to think about whether or not to kick for a field goal or not.
I think the offensive team kicks the ball into the end zone. They should get a point for it, or at least 1 point for it, because they scored. They got the ball in the end zone. Isn't that the purpose of the goddamn game? But no, these whiny people want to get rid of the rouge.
Yes.
It's a sore spot with me. That's part of our game.
I don't know why we'd want to reward the team for doing fucking nothing.
Why is my hand up in the air?
Because you were upset about the rouge.
I need to go pee. No. I'm challenged by it, okay? It really bothers me.
You've been challenged before. It's okay.
I've been challenged for a long time.
Yeah.
Something about going to school on the short bus all the time.
Well,
did I say that out loud, or was that my inside voice?
Whatever.
Well, considering we got 3 weeks until the season starts, I think you've calmed down quite a bit.
I have other things to think about. There's other things happening in my life that are much worse than the rules for the CFL. It's called distraction. By the way, guys, how do you like my new glasses? I got them today.
You're what?
I like them.
New glasses.
New glasses. I can actually see.
I see.
They look good.
Yeah, I'm happy. One of the good things in life. What is it? It's 12 o'clock. Okay. Time is it? PEI. 20 after 12 there. Okay. Halifax. Let's put a team in Halifax. I want to go to Halifax.
Why?
You might just have to go to Halifax.
Well, you're
I
the
don't think you're
commander.
getting the CFL team there to do it.
Yeah, it's not Halifax I want to go to, but that's beside the point. We're not going to talk about it on the air because it's way too public. Okay. Life is a bitch. So, Charles.
Yeah.
Seems that my residency in this location seems to be getting pretty permanent. So I'm kind of happy about that. So maybe we can hang out sometime.
What city are you in now?
I'm currently in Abbotsford.
Oh, okay.
As am I.
As are you. So I need to move some furniture. You want to come over and help?
I knew there was something coming, Charles.
I will be
You know
there.
what I think? You know what I think you should do, CJ? You know what I think you should do? I think you should call Ricky. He'll probably help you.
I got plans that day.
Yeah,
I'll be there. I'll be there in
close buddies.
I barely move my own furniture when I move.
Yeah, I don't. It's okay, Charles. I don't have any furniture. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Okay, so this is it. What are we going to do? Is it going to shut her down and head off for the weekend? Willie says yes.
Plan. I'm going to Kelowna, so.
Oh, my condolences. Oh, yeah, football game. No.
No,
what are you going to Kelowna for?
July.
That's in July,
for a
yeah.
trip to get away from here for a bit.
Oh, okay.
It's nice. It's nice in Kelowna.
I don't know. It was 30 degrees in Abbotsford today and raining.
There's lots of
That's so weird when it does that.
In Kelowna.
I thought I was in Hawaii.
Well, it was 93. It was 91.
We got
degrees here
120
and
kilometer
sunny.
winds coming our way.
Enjoy. I like windstorms.
Hey, this has been Let's Talk CFL podcast, episode number 648. I've been your host, Christopher Jones. We had Chris Morris, president and CEO of the Edmonton Elks, on the show for the beginning of it. That was awesome. Thank you very much, Michael Dennis, for doing that. Good job. And Michael, say goodnight.
Good night, everybody. And we're one more week away from football. Yes.
No, we're 1 week closer.
1 week closer. Sorry.
Okay. Scott Morledge.
Have a good night, everyone. And we do have football game within a week on Monday. So we'll have something to discuss then.
Monday.
Charles Cliff.
Well, first of all, thank you, Chris Morris, for coming on and being our guest here tonight. And thank you to everyone who's been watching and listening and so on. And we will talk to you next week when we will have a game to talk about. Yes, it's a preseason game, and preseason games aren't normally the most thrilling football, but hey, it's football, so it's a good thing.
Speaking of that, Charles, and your IPTV, do you usually get all of the preseason games somewhere streaming, or just the ones that TSN normally puts out?
Just the TSN ones. I always watch the preseason games on CFL Plus.
Yeah.
On what?
That's what I do.
CFL Plus through the CFL website.
Right,
all the preseason games are broadcast on there.
Forgot all about that. Okay, and by the way, before we get to William here, and I'm not forgetting about you, William, I did get an email from Chris Morris just after he left, and that's why I was head down talking. I was texting him back, and he said, "Thanks for having me on the show tonight. Great to see such strong support for the CFL south of the border."
Oh, and that's obviously to Mike. Very good.
Yep.
Yeah, must be for Mike, because the rest of us are crazy Canucks.
We're all Canadians. He's the only American, so.
We appreciate you, Mike.
Thank you.
Obviously, he does.
But that's beside the point.
Yeah, exactly. William, say goodnight.
Good night, everybody. I hope football is starting soon. Thank God. I won't make it to the game on Monday, but I'll keep track of what's going on.
How come you're not going?
Because I have to work, Mike.
Oh.
And there's no way he's taking a day off to watch a preseason game.
Not to watch preseason, probably
it's
not.
long week. It's long weekend at Home Depot, Mike. It's really big.
That's when people do
really
projects.
Big. Yeah.
What holiday is this?
And it's double time.
Victoria Day.
Victoria Day.
Queen Victoria's birthday.
Okay.
Victoria, Claire Hannah replaced Victoria, Mike. So now you know how old she is.
She's gorgeous. She's gorgeous.
Shut it down, Christopher.
No, she's not.
Shut
God.
it down, Christopher.
Not at all.
Okay. I'm hitting the stop button. Good